Greetings, dear viewers of Silkwood TV channel. We keep broadcasting from World Nomad Games 2024, first time taking place in the capital of Kazakhstan, Astana, and now I'm joined by President of General Conference of UNESCO, Simona-Mirela Miculescu. Thank you very much for joining us. The World Nomad Games, the 5th edition of it, is taking place in Astana. Now we can see that more and more parties are being involved in this. How does the UNESCO see the role in preserving the cultural heritage through these games, please?
Well, these games are telling everything about the mission of UNESCO, because one of the main missions of UNESCO, of course, the essential one being building peace, is to preserve and to promote cultural heritage all over the world. So it's not by chance that the Director General of UNESCO gave the high patronage to this edition, to this 5th edition of the World Nomadic Games. And no wonder that these games are already, for about 3 years now, a part of the world's intangible cultural heritage. So this speaks volumes about the importance that UNESCO gives to traditional culture, including sports.
Yeah, initially it was initiated by Kyrgyz Republic, mainly focused on nomadic cultures, but now we can see that more Latin American countries are also being involved, as well as African cultures. How would you describe this? Why so many nations are now being interested in such ethnic sports?
I think that, and I hope actually, that nations are realizing ever more in this context of globalization, that actually globalization doesn't mean that you have to lose your identity, your national identity. So I think that there is a revival of the interest in preserving whatever is national, or the national treasures that we have. And I couldn't be happier, because again, UNESCO is a beautiful example. It's like a mosaic of cultures and traditional cultures, and that is why we are so devoted, and the member states are so devoted to this objective. So I was very pleased to see countries which are not known actually for their nomadic populations to be present here, and the parade included countries that I didn't expect to see. But it's a fantastic opportunity also of global awareness of how important ethno-sports can be in building peace, ultimately.
You already mentioned that these games are actually fulfilling one of the main objectives of UNESCO, to preserve the cultural heritage. But what other goals does it fulfill so far, these games?
Actually, it's about, first of all, the traditional dimension of these games, but it's also the values which are so important for UNESCO, the moral values of sports. Because we know very well that the moral values of athletes are the highest possible. It's about performing, it's about resilience, it's about passion, it's about dedication. And then combined with the philosophy of the nomadic civilization, which is everything about being strong, being resilient, it is a beautiful combination. So I think that is something that deals with building peace more than anything else.
Yeah, and recently we witnessed the opening ceremony, and we can see that these games are actually reviving the past culture that we had, and also combining with some modern, style of artists and also athletes, how they are competing in these games. How does UNESCO balance this, modernization as well as preservation of cultural heritage?
Before answering your question, I have to seize this opportunity to congratulate Kazakhstan for an absolutely phenomenal opening ceremony. It was overwhelmingly beautiful, it was overwhelmingly symbolical, and also embracing, the memorable speech of your president. It was a total experience. So my warm congratulations. I've seen around the world a lot of opening ceremonies of all sorts of events, but this was one of the most impressive that I've seen in my long career. So, well, again, one of the main concerns of UNESCO is the symbiosis of modernity, let's say modern art, and tradition. Why? While respecting and preserving the tradition, modernity gets inspiration in this tradition, and modernity actually helps preserving the tradition, of course, in a reinterpreted format maybe. So making traditions more attractive for the younger generation is essential, because I was very, very happy to see here in Kazakhstan what a priority the younger generation means. I saw it even at the moment, at a very beautiful and symbolical moment of the anthem of your country, where it was children.
Yeah, we always
you always do that.
Right?
I love this about your civilization, and also the important role of the younger generation, the young performers in the ceremony. But also, I attended a very interesting conference on youth resilience and sports. So the youth component is essential. And of course, it's not by chance that it's also a top priority for UNESCO. So I kind of meet in interests and objectives with those of your country.
Yes, now we can see that Romanian team is also presented here. And by the way, I talked to some athletes who are coming from Romania to participate in our Kazakh national game, Asahatu, and they are saying that they played it somewhere in childhood too, but maybe with some, other rules a little bit. I mean, the rules differ, but at the same time, we have these similarities. And what I'm seeing now in the rules of each game, and there are also the types of every ethnic sport. What do you think? Which modifications can we expect to put into these World Nomad Games? It's 5th time already how it's taking place, but still we can expect some new modifications.
And like the world evolves, also the World Nomadic Games have to evolve.
Right.
Well, first of all, I'm very proud. I was, as ambassador, also ambassador of Romania to UNESCO, you can imagine that I was very proud to see a Romanian, a pretty substantial delegation, not one or two persons. So I congratulate them and I root for them. I was very proud yesterday when I managed to go at least to the horseback archery event to see the Romanian flag hanging there. I was very, very emotional about that. Well, I think that even the rules and the World Nomad Games are subject to development. Because as far as I see, this year there were like 89 countries participating, so the number is ever more, the interest is ever bigger. Maybe at a certain point you will take into account other sports categories that will reflect even better and even more comprehensively the ever bigger diversity of countries and cultures respectively present. But of course it's not up to me. I'm as a diplomat and as a representative of the member states of UNESCO, I'm very happy already with the beautiful diversity from the sports, cultural, civilizational, social point of view.
Yeah, now we have quite a number of touristic places that are included in the list of UNESCO. Are there any, anticipation of new places to be added there?
I'm absolutely sure that you have much more wonders than that. Of course, this is a question to be asked to the experts and to your Ministry of Culture, because they are the ones who prepare the files and they promote them. It's just that, of course, there is a huge competition at UNESCO because 194 countries want their wonders to be included in the list. But I saw that your situation is pretty solid on both the World Heritage List and Intangible Cultural Heritage List. So I have a lot of confidence in the power of persuasion and professionalism of the Kazakh authorities in order to inscribe ever more sites on these lists. And I would recommend, from my own experience also, and I know that you are very open to such cooperations, the multinational files that actually include several nations that have similar similar practices or similar sites. So I'm sure that your authorities will find ways to inscribe ever more sites.
Yeah, and Kazakhstan this year has been hosting the 5th World Nomad Games, and my last question is what are UNESCO's plans in terms of these games, perhaps to further somehow develop it? What's vision of UNESCO in terms of that?
Well, I think that it's also, UNESCO will always support the World Nomadic Games. Of course, it's up to the ones who are leading the World Nomadic Games to take decisions that will, I'm sure, always be supported by UNESCO as long as they stick to the values of this competition. And I wouldn't like to end our conversation without mentioning something that is very dear to my presidency. Last year, when the 42nd General Conference of UNESCO took place, under my presidency, we adopted, so all the member states, all the 194 member states adopted a document that actually will generate the creation of a new UNESCO collection on nomadic civilizations. So I hope that one day at the World Nomadic Games, maybe we will also have in the cultural part the launch of this wonderful collection. Let's hope for it and let's work on it.
Perhaps already next year or in 2 years at the 6th World Nomad Games, who knows. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your time.
I thank you for your invitation.